All right, it's air. We're live. Get some links. Let's get some people coming. All right. All right, that should work there. All right. Getting everybody joining in. All right. Let's see if anybody is ready to go here. Okay. Wait for a couple more people before we start. Hope you I can edit this one while I'm waiting for people to come in. Let's see here. Okay. In my live control room. All right. Okay. All right, I'm gonna move this one. The box on my iPad, the side. There we go. And I can leave this live chat here. Right to that. Okay. See, does that go in here as well? No. All right. We got a couple of viewers coming. We'll wait for a couple more here before we start. Josh Bardwell's also doing a broadcast tonight, so he's doing some Q&A. So, hey, Eugene, how you doing? I'll say I scheduled mine first, but yeah, I was listening to a little bit of his do some troubleshooting. It's pretty nice, as always with Josh. So always good to learn some stuff from him. But we got some good stuff for tonight. We got some Diatone products and some Racflight, the new Mad Dog motors, lots of stuff that I've been kind of putting off talking about. So let's see. Do this real quick. Okay. Continue. Send now. Gonna send out a little blurb to some peeps. There we go. All right. If you got any questions too, you can always post them below or next to, or however you're watching it, and we can answer them. Let's see here. There, we got 4 viewers. Let's see. I don't think I want this group chat open. I think what I want is live chat. So just still learning on this YouTube thing. We got 4 people. Some more coming. Hi, Eugene. How you been? Talked to you a couple times, I know. All right, so kind of going to go over some things that some new products from Diatone, some other new items that we've got, some setup questions. I know some people had some questions on how to use the R-XSR receiver from Frsky. I've been helping a lot of people with that lately because Frsky it's just made it a little bit more difficult than they could have for some people. So I think it just needs to be some explaining something brought to view, and oops, that's always good to talk. I should hang them back here. You can kind of see them up in my office here. So I was out flying today. It's supposed to snow here in North Carolina sometime today, but it didn't yet. But I went out and got a couple flights in on this flight. It's one of the new ships. I'll get more into it. So get a little bit more people here, but this is the Diatone GT-M. M for Marauder. This is the Marauder. I like their naming techniques for Diatone. You had the Crusader, the Crusader 2, the Tyrant, the Marauder. What's the little one called? I was hoping they named the GT-R90 the little pawn or the pauper. Out of that, it would have been right along the feudal system for Diatone. But this one is the oh, you did? You got 2 inches already? Oh man, that's just north of us. My daughter's down there just begging for snow. RC, we did have some at one time, and they sold pretty quick. But by the time I get them in, the season's gone. And so right now I don't have any plans. Plus, when I was ordering them before for the little 1S, sorry, he asked for the 1S 250 or 600 batteries. There were about 3 different connectors that people were using, anywhere from those little JST to the micro Deans. So it was really hard to settle down on something. You guys this market is very ADD. It can't just pick one and stay with it for a while. Hey, Chad, welcome. Rip Shitty there. Me and him had a really good race a couple of weeks ago. We were just neck and neck. His whole footage, I wasn't recording, but his whole DVR footage is just me and him going back and forth. Is probably my most fun race I've ever had. And I hit a gate, so he beat me on that one. What's up, Joe? All my boys up north. Man, I wish we would have got 2 inches. But this is so I'll start just with this one a little bit, and then we'll kind of go into some more. And I'll come back again as well. Let's see, man, everybody's always texting me from Florida. I wonder if you guys got some snow. A lot of people got snow. Haven't flown in that one yet today. It's still just clear out there. But this is the GT-M Marauder. This is the stretch version, and we've also got an X version. Right now, I think we're sold out. I've got an order coming in. I didn't want to get too heavy into them because I didn't know what I'd like better, this one or the GTR, the race one. This one was heavily inspired by the Floss. I'll just put it that way. Very light. This one weighs. This is the R. This one weighs 250. Well, a little bit more now. I'll put a Predator in there. I'll talk about that in a bit. But this one weighs 320, 340, I think. But these have bigger motors as well. But I didn't know which one I like. I like this one, but I like this one more. I feel more confident in this one. So again, this is the GT-M Marauder. It's got a roll cage design. So imagine like a Crusader, but then they took all the carbon fiber off and just put aluminum on it. And with blue and silver right now, I think is what they're coming in. And it's got a couple cool features I'll put on this one. It's made for a micro camera. You can cram a full-size camera in there. It just gets crammed in right here on the side, and it doesn't move. I've seen a couple guys have done that. But this does fit a micro just fine. Then I've got a Raceflight stack on here. And one of the cool features is this antenna mount in the back. which we're going to order some more spare parts of these because they have been breaking for some customers. But the antenna mount moves. So it's on a little screw, and you can kind of, it bends. So if you hit something, it's going to bend, but it have to bend really far to get in line with your props. But you can angle it back, angle it up. If you put a little stubby on, it probably wouldn't even hit your props. But it's kind of cool because it doesn't just snap right off. It takes a little bit of force, and then it moves, and you won't break it. I hit a tree today, and I didn't break anything on it. On this one, I'm running the Diatone flashbangs. I don't know if you guys used these before, but they're very bright. And this one, I've got the Diatone 2306 motors, which were on the Crusaders that they sold. So I wanted to try this out because I think Diatone may make some kind of RTR version of this in the future, we're hoping. But it's a really nice ship. It's very easy to build. You've got lots of room in the stack. I know some people had issues on those GT2s. If you didn't use exactly what they had, you'd have to buy the higher side plates and everything. But I've got the bolt, the Raceflight revolt, and then a third board on top of that, the iFlight VTX. And then on top of that, I've got jammed in there my R-XSR receiver. So you've got plenty of room. If you did, I mean, that's 3 boards high. So you can easily get whatever you need in there. Now, to compare this one to the other Diatone ship, this is the other. They're very durable. This is the other new Diatone ship. This is called the GT-R for race. And again, like I said, it was heavily inspired by the Floss. There was a demand for this type of frame, and so Diatone, kind of quickly threw something together and put it out there. I wouldn't say it's my favorite frame. One of the issues that I'm having, and supposedly this has been fixed on the new ones, but there's 2 screws that hold your arms on. This one goes into the standoff, and then there's another screw that goes into a lock nut on the top of the arm, and that's just not enough. The arms get loose. Like you can't see it there, but this arm moves, and so every time you hit something, a branch or tree, you got to come down, or when you land, you got to retighten the arms. And I don't know, it's really light, it flies really good when everything's locked in, but I'm just getting annoyed at having to tweak all those. Yeah, Joe, they are bright. I'll show you the flashbangs on this one in just a second here. So this is a really good light ship. I've raced with this one. This was the one that me and Rip Shitty were actually racing against. And this one, it'll fit a micro camera in there, but I wanted to try out this Predator. So I took my Dremel tool and cut out most of this top so it'll fit in there. Its stock cutout is about this deep. You can see back here. If you're pretty fast, you're going to need more than that. I was racing the other day in a more open course, and I needed more tilt. So for the little micro, but when I put this one in there, it's good. And this is like freestyle camera angle. And then if I want to go race, I can pop it up even more. And that's about all I'm going to get on that one, just because of the boards behind it. And again, you've got plenty of room on this stack. There's the revolt, the bolt, the iFlight Force VTX, and a receiver on there, and there's still room. You kind of see that pretty good in there. Yeah, see, Joe has the same issue on his Floss, and I mean, it is what it is. It's part of being light. Let me turn this off because everything's dinging. Andy's watching, but he can't comment. Joe, call Andy and tell him how to comment. Got a lot of my local guys here watching. It's kind of cool. So yeah, this is a pretty good frame. The carbon's really strong. Diatone's done good with their carbon fiber. Both these 2 have the same kind of carbon fiber. Obviously, this is a little bit thicker than this one, but it's different than the Crusader carbon fiber. The Crusader had that lacquer on it and everything, and this one's a little bit less than that. So I wish they would make this one just maybe a little bit thinner arms and get some of the weight down, but it's still it's a tank. It flies really well. Yeah, Eugene, that's a okay, a couple questions here from Eugene. Like the video on the Predator, can you get rid of the blue? I was able to get rid of the blue. I turned the brightness down, and then I adjusted the hue in my goggles, on the Predator. I'll see if I can't get my yeah. it better than that. And I've got a Predator micros on order from Frsky I'd like to try. But what I noticed most on my Predator is that if I'm inverted with the sun behind me, it's this beautiful picture. But when I roll up and something's bright in front, it darkens everything behind it. And I don't get the same crispness and clarity that I did in my Monster. I thought the Monster V2 was by far the best camera I've ever flown. It's just the detail, the clarity, the color transition. It was the best thing that I haven't found anything that matched that. So Frsky said that that's just what wide dynamic range does, and I believe him. I don't think it's an excuse, but I just didn't like it. So hopefully in their micros we'll be able to adjust that, because I know on my Monster I did turn down the wide dynamic range. So I think it's just they've got it just a little bit too aggressive. And then RC Riviera asked the camera lens what number. These are 1.8s and that come with the Monster, and then it's a 2.1, I believe it comes with the Frsky micros. Milo, what's up? I don't know. Yeah, the Cadex, from what I've been told on the Cadex, it's just a cheaper chipset than what the Frsky and the RunCam people use. That's what Diatone told me about those. I asked them that when they were looking at the micro cameras for that R90. If they looked in the Cadex, and they weren't really impressed with it as much as the one that they went with. But you know, it seems like there's more and more of those cameras out there. They are cheaper, but I know Frsky just reduced dealer price and retail price for their Frsky Aero Pro. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about today, I got a little list. So I've got them here. Again, this is Mark, 2dogrc, if you don't know me. And if you got any questions, you can post it here in the live chat on the YouTube, and I can get back to them and answer them, trying to just go in order that they come. Oh yeah, Joe, I wanted to show you the flashbangs. Or not you, you've seen them because you use them, but I don't think a lot of people have. All right. So this is a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a row of 9 flashbangs. Yeah, that's bright. You can easily see these in the daytime and anywhere you're going. So this is, I put a row on the leading edge of the front on this one, and then on my GT-M, this is more. This is 15 LEDs. These are the Diatone flashbangs. And you can get them on our 2dogrc.com and Diatone and other places. That's 15. It's blinding. Flying this one line of sight in the night, you can't really see it. It's just this ball of light. That's really messing my camera up. That's kind of, there you go. There's your Predator blue back. All right, so those are the 2 Diatone frames that I want to show. And then one of the things I mentioned on there was this iFlight VTX. We've got 2 versions of this. We've got an S, or yeah, I got a nice little tan. One's got smart audio and one doesn't. One's cheaper than the other. One's $15. And so this is the iFlight. Hey, buddy. Miles over here. Come here, Miles. Come here. Oh, no? Okay. Here, come here, buddy. Miles is going to jump in there a little. Oh. All right, this is Milo. This is dog number, well, really number 4, but he's right now number 2 of 2. So, so this is the iFlight receiver, and the reason I like it, hey buddy, is that it's stackable. So you can just put this on your stack, and then you can put your receiver on the top or whatever you need to. If you put it upside down, it's a little bit harder. If you have a stand-up, that's better. But now you've got this nice flat surface on the top to mount things to, glue things to, whatever you want. But I usually just mount it this way. And then it's got the MMCX connector, which there are a lot of antennas for now. And so far, I haven't had any issues with it. I've run it in a couple races. I've run it running 25 milliwatts with a linear antenna, and we didn't have any issues racing a couple weekends ago. We were testing that philosophy out. It worked really well. So these are on our website too, but I like them because they stack and it's really easy just to put it back into a build. And then it comes with your cable, comes with the linear antenna, and then it comes with a SMA connector. So that's what I put in mind, just to make things easy. And then obviously you've got your smart audio version, so you can do your smart audio. All right, let's see, there's the next one on my list. Okay. One of the other things I want to show you guys is a new product that I got in working with a guy out in California on. Where did they go? Here they are. So I'm going to show off our new motors in a little bit too. And if you guys want to see that as Diatone frames, if you're new coming in, just let me know. I can pull them back up. All right, so what we got here, these, it's going to be hard to see on a camera, but I'll do the rest. It just looks like a sheet in there. But what these are these are lens protectors. This particular bag right here is for a micro camera. So they're be like a screen protector that you put on your iPhone. I've got them for micro cameras and full-size cameras, and you just put a little water on it, and then you stick it on the camera, and then it's going to prevent, you know, minor scratches from sand, dust, branches, and it gives you at least one layer of protection before something starts scratching your lens. These sell for like $11 for, well, there's 6 in a micro bag. I think there's 5 in a full-size bag. So it's a real nice thing to just protect your camera. Instead of paying $12, $15 for a lens, you can pay about $1 for a lens protector. They curve, they fit the curvature of the lens. So if you're using like a monster camera, I've got a video showing me putting one on. It'll curve the lens and it doesn't distort the image. It doesn't produce any artifacts, and it protects your lens and saves you money. So I'm always a big fan of things that save me money. All right, let's see here. Let's see how this, I mean, questions are coming up here. Okay. All right. Okay. I think I've got everything under control here, so that's good. There we go. Okay. So that's pretty cool on these. Again, I was working with a guy out in California who does racing stuff, and he was just, you know, one of those guys that just knows about materials. And we try these. They're on the website. I'll throw up a link down below. And if you look up lens protector, I think they come up. Oh, Diatone stuff. Yeah, I got one more Diatone thing. The R90, the little micro kit, had an issue with this little plastic stack that Diatone included with it for mounting a flight controller. It was too brittle. This was one of the things that I did mention to Diatone, most of the other testers as well, but they thought, no, it'll be okay. So if you don't have an R90, I'll tell you. Roger B, sup, bro? So the R90, instead of using standoffs, they have the stack. So you put this plastic piece in, and then you stack your flight controller on it, and then they have a spacer. You stack your, or not flight controller, first the ESC, then spacer, flight controller, and that's what you do. Instead of having to put individual stack pieces, it's just threaded with hollow spacers. But they shattered because of the brittle plastic that they were 3D printed. So what they did is they found some new material, and you can see here, it's very pliable. And this will be in the new batch of R90s that we're waiting on to come in, and we're waiting on a new batch of these too as well. And then what you do is they're threaded, so you can put your stack on, and then you just put a little nylon nut on the top, and everything is good to go. This is a sample. Diatone test sent me to test out the material to see, you know, what I thought of it, and it's definitely a huge improvement of what they had before. So I can't wait to get one of those in and get my R90 back in the air, because it's out of commission because of that middle standoff thing. So I can show you here. See, they're threaded. It's 3D printed but threaded. So you can just put your little nut on, and that caps it off. So real nice idea. It really made it easy to make that, but once they crack, not so easy. Okay. One other thing I want to show. I wanted to come out with a motor line, because everybody has one, but I wanted to make one that was good, but not overhyped. Like, I'm not going to charge somebody $40 for a motor that only cost me $7 to make from China. Just because someone's name's on it, I can't do that to you guys. Plus, I don't know anybody well enough to make that kind of money on their name. Eugene, I don't know what kind of material it is. It's a mix between, what do you say, nylon, TPU, some kind of mix, but it's not straight TPU. It's something different than that. It's like TPU, but it's not. It kind of feels more like those Halloween mask material, but thicker than that. Not real thin, but thicker than that. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it's made out of, but it's a huge improvement. So I wanted to bring out some motors that were affordable and good performance. They're on my GT5. I've been running them. That ship has probably got 100 flights on it already, and I've only had it a month. So what we did is we came out with our Mad Dog motors. I had Sam, my graphic design guy, do the box art. He's one of the best designers I've worked with. So he did the box art. He did my logo. He does FPV logos as well. As if you go to Facebook, FPV logos, look him up. He can design you your own cool little logo to put in your videos. You don't have to use some text anymore. You can use a cool little logo. So you can't get into the box. Just makes them harder to break because you can't mount them. All right, so a couple things on my motors. One, I wanted to make sure that if you're doing a build like a floss or something, using a 4-in-1, that you've got enough wire. This is 250 millimeters of wire. I haven't found a frame yet that this didn't fit on. I believe they'll fit most 6-inch arms, but you're not really going to put it. This one's a 2205. You're probably not going to put that on a 6-inch frame. So if you can see here, there's the motor and the wire. There's my ESC, and the motor wires come all the way over to the opposite side, plus extra. So you got more than enough room to mount these on something. They've got the 16x16 mounting pattern on the bottom, save space. A lot of new frames are coming out that way. And these are 2205 2500 kV motors. So really good for racing or freestyle. You get just a high RPM. I'm running a HQ 5x4.3x3s, waiting for some 4x8s to try those out, but it really likes the light props. And then you'll get your prop nuts and mounting bolts. You get an extra C-clip, and you get extra little washers. You get 2 C-clips actually. Yeah, you get 2 extra C-clips plus the one that's on the motor. So they're on the website. They're on sale for $12, $12.99. Chad, the GTR. What do you mean? You think where you think it's a little too similar to some other designs out there? I know guy that designed the floss had an issue with Diatone, and I think they did something. They talked to him about it, and I don't know. Diatone's really not pushing that one too much, but I've got some, like I said before, they've got some improvements coming on it on the arms, so hopefully it won't move as much, but it's just part of this design, I think, where your arms move. I don't know. My little mouse. There we go. So yeah, you know, a lot of people have that similar design, and I don't know. I just think that it's a good design, but I think this is, you know, based off, I think the Floss 1. I think they've, or 2 maybe, but not the 3. I don't know. I fly it because, you know, well, actually, Diatone sent me that one to test and report back and get some video. But it's a good ship. I like the arms are good carbon. It's light. You want to do a light ship. We also have our motors in the 2207s. It's a little bit bigger. Again, long motor leads, and I don't know. It's nothing special. I think these are $19 on the website, but you know, I just wanted a nice affordable, and they're blue. And then on the side here, you can see it's got a little dog chain. So it looks pretty nice on your ship. Like I said, I've got over 100 flights on my motors, and I haven't burned them up yet. And I've crashed a lot testing that. I still haven't broken that flame either. The Diatone is doing a lot of good work this year. They're really coming out with some new frames. I've got another one that I'm testing for them right now. I can't show you guys, but it's going to be pretty cool. So they've got some good ideas. They got that they've got this in 3-inch ready to fly. We've got those ordered. They had to redo them because of this, the 3-inch version uses that same TPU mount for the flight controller, and because the material was bad, that it's postponed the production of that. But they said they're going to be shipping them next week. I've got a couple of those coming. So imagine this 3 inches ready to fly with what motors they put on there. I can't remember the motors, but I was like, yeah, send me a couple. So yeah, Chad, these GT-M I think is going to be, I think a better hit than the Crusader. You've got a little bit more durability. I just need to get more of these pieces in stock because I already had 2 people ask me. The motors can do 6S. However, they're 2205, 2600 kV motors, so not really ideal for 6S. That's pretty high kV. However, if you want to go fast, man, you can't go low kV. I talked to a guy who set the speed record and on 4S, and he's running 2207, 2600 kV motors. So this whole, oh, we need low kV motors for racing, that's BS, because you're going to go 2000 kV, and then the guy right next to you is going to go 2200 kV, and you're going to lose because he was faster. With, you know, equal square and everything like that. So right now people think low kV motors, but when it comes to everything on the line, you need to go faster than the guy next to you, and being more efficient isn't about racing. If it were, then we'd be trying to be more efficient on a 4S. So my GT-M comes in at 335, I think, without props, and I'm running a 5046 Cyclones. I like these in this one because it just shreds it. Very heavy prop. The Diatone motors can spool them up really well, and I don't have any bad issues with them. This is a Raceflight board. I just flashed the newest firmware that just came out like 2 days ago, 426, and it does very well. I don't get a lot of shake, really no shake coming down. I kind of idle descent. Oh man, I hit a tree really hard today with this one. So yeah, see, that's a good one. 354. Yeah, see, right, I'm right with you, Roger. Roger's got one too. Roger's doing a test for me on those Mad Dog motors. He's got the 2205 motors, but he's testing out the 2400 kV, or no, 2600 and 2800. And then Andy Iceberg FPV is testing out the 2400 kV motors and 26. Trying to see, you know, what people like and everything. All right, I'm going to take a little break from products. Have some tea. Any questions? Or Chad, what are you? I think I remember you've got a couple Diatone ships. I am the R. Yeah, the R92. You know, I was talking to oh man, I just lost his name. But the guy set one of the first records on 4S for speed, 145 miles per hour or something. And I asked him, okay, dude, you've been running 6S for over a year. He's got custom motors made for him, but he set the speed record on 4S, granted, okay. So now he's running 6S when he races, and he loves it. And he's running 2207, 2600 kV motors. And I asked him a couple of things like, okay, so if you want to go 6S, what are some things we need to think about here? It says the number one thing that you need to change from your 4S setup is your connector. The XT60 is a piece of garbage when it comes to running 6S, because an XT60, really 60 to 80 amps is where it starts to really lose its efficiency, and you need a better connector if you're going to run 6S. for voltage and current. It reduces resistance, which is going to be more current flow. And he says you'll even notice it in a 4S setup if you change your connectors to something different. Because if you look at your videos, especially some of these really fast racers like Conrad Ferrati and you know, the other ones that actually have their OSD up there, they're pushing 120, 130 amps when they do those hard 180 snaps. And you can get more power if you have less resistance. So you're changing your connector, and what he uses are the Castle Creations 200 amp connector. It's basically an XT90, not Dean's. Nope, Dean's actually are worse. Dean's really are 30 to 40 amps. So Dean's are kind of like the lowest. Well, you got the little JSTs, red ones. Then you got micro Dean's, can handle more than that. Then you got the Dean's XT60, then XT90, or the Castle Creations 200 amp. And those are rated at 200 amps continuous, where an XT60 is nowhere close to that. And you get a lot better performance. He said his buddy noticed it even just on switching on his 4S setups. So that was one of the big things that he noticed. Now this guy is all about, you know, performance and everything. So that was something that he thoroughly tested and did. So that was a big one, going to 6S. And I wish I would have remembered some more of them. But that was the key one that he really talked about. But he said the whole battery, running a smaller battery and lower kV motors, he says that's stupid, because you're not going to do that, because the guy next to you is going to have a bigger battery with a higher kV motor, and he's going to toast you. You know, especially if you get a big course, you can't. It's all about speed. So that's really, you know, 6S is great. There's different reasons for it. If you want to go low kV with a smaller battery and get the weight down and be more efficient, that's fine. Less, you know, voltage on the, or current on the components, stuff like that. But when you're talking 6S to be more efficient for racing, it's a moot point, because you can't be more efficient and be faster than the guy next to you, especially if you're mated. But Chad, yeah, if you want to look them up, it's the Castle Creations 200 amp connectors, and they do weigh a tad bit more than XT60, but you won't notice that. It's like 2 grams more or 1 gram more. One of the other things I wanted to talk about is my Betaflight Raceflight experiment. So I've been a Betaflight bro since, well, Betaflight, I don't know, 3 years now. And I know I'm not going to talk about any of the controversy, because Baby Llama don't need no drama. So we're going to leave all that political, whatever you want, all that stuff that happened behind us. And that's another video. Josh has done that one. So I'm just going to talk about my experience with it and what I learned. So most of you guys here, there you go, Alan. Hey, Alan, that's our local hobby store. He's probably got some too. 200 amp green connectors or bullets. I bet the car guys have been using these. So, okay, they're 6.5 millimeter ones. Yes, the motors will handle 6S. Actually, okay, that's a very good question. Let me come back to that, and then I'll go back to the Raceflight thing. All motors can handle 6S. Okay, that's not really science. I guess that is science. All motors can handle 6S. I could give you a 1104 6000 kV motor, and it will handle 6S. What current you draw through it, depending on your prop, is what's going to ruin it. So what you have to do is you have to know how you're going to prop it in current wise. So if you're going to run that motor, 2207, 2600 kV motor on 6S, I think I've got specs on the website on them. You can't run a 5152 prop and expect the motor to handle that amount of current, because you're probably talking 70 to 80 amps, and that's what it can't handle. So think of that times 4. 80 amps times 4 is 320 amps from 4 motors. Your battery's going to melt, and your PDB is going to melt. Most PDBs now are rated for about 200 amps. So there's a lot more to this equation than can a motor handle 6S. It's what you want. What are you trying to pull on 6S? And those motors I would run on 6S, a low pitch 5-inch prop, 54s. Would be what I would go to, and just know that you can't put that stick at the top and leave it there and run down a football field, because you'll probably melt more than what you think on your system. So I'll get some data for these motors. They've been tested. These are OEM motors. I didn't invent these. I just kind of picked what I wanted on them, and they've been selling for about a half a year already under a couple different name brands. So I wanted the 16 by 16 bolt pattern. I wanted them blue. You know, when it comes to some of these things, I don't get to pick too much. So so the Raceflight Betaflight experiment. So most of you guys probably fly Betaflight. So I'm not really going to talk too much about what's in Betaflight because you all know. So what I'm going to talk about is if you're coming from Raceflight to Betaflight, what's something you're going to gain, what's something you're going to lose. First off, the configurator. The configurator in Raceflight is amazing. It's back to, if you guys were around during the Open Pilot days, very similar to how Open Pilot did it. When you set up a flight controller, you start from step 1, step 2, step 3, and when you get done with all your steps, guess what? You can go out and fly. You don't have to go into CLI and type set small angle, or you don't have to randomly move around the tabs. It's complete step 1, move to step 2. Makes it real easy to do that. If you use the Raceflight environment, by that I mean you use a Raceflight Revolt, which is okay. I'm going to try not to say a lot of political stuff. So the name is Revolt, and it's basically a CCD revolution with a different gyro. Revolt Revolution. I'm just going to leave it there because I'll get carried away. All right, here's the bolts. These are the newest bolts. We just got these in. I got the wires in. So let me get all these pieces out here. So from Raceflight, you can buy. There's the board, the Revolt. This is the Revolt, the flight controller, and here's your ESC. The ESC comes conformal coated already, so they've got waterproofing on the ESCs, which is pretty cool. They're testing it on their flight controllers to see if it makes a difference. I've heard different things from them, so they're still testing that to see if it does affect the gyro, which is pretty important. So I like easy things. So if you're running Raceflight, you take this 8-pin connector that comes with the Revolt, or the sorry, it comes with the ESC. Pins are on the top, pins are on the top, and all you do to hook up your ESC to your flight controller is put the 8-pin connector in, and you're done. So I like that. Now here's the cool thing. There you go. You're done. You put your gummies in. They come with little rubber gummies that go in the holes, and that's usually enough space. And then you mount it capacitors up. Let's see, I think it's this way. Yeah, capacitors up, and then the Revolt this way. And here's what's really cool on Raceflight. You don't even have to worry about where's motor 1, 2, 3, or 4. You just put this this 4-in-1 ESC in your ship, however way it fits you want it, and wire up your motors. Okay, your flight control board. Don't worry about where an arrow is, or you don't have to worry about that. You just however you want to line it up, and you put it in here. And the way you mount these is you take a screw, M3, about 20 to 25 millimeters, and go from the bottom of your frame through the gummy, and that's it. You don't need standoffs because the gummy distance is enough that they'll separate themselves. You just don't want to crunch it down when you're putting that nut on top. But some people don't even put a nut on top of the bolt. That's enough to hold everything together. The other thing you can do if you don't want to use a bolt, which is, I don't blame you, they're kind of expensive. You can use a 4-in-1 ESC, and most of those also have 8-pin connectors. I know the Typhoon does, the Hobby Wing, the DYS, and you can just plug that into there. And again, you don't even have to worry about the motor mapping on this, because in Raceflight, when you go to do your motors, it says, well, first you set up your flight controller. As you set it flat, hit OK, and put the ship on its nose, hit OK, and it figures out what rotation your board is. Boom, you're done. Then when you're doing the motor calibration part, it says what motor's spinning. Click a little picture, it's the upper left and upper right. So it also remaps all your motors for you. So you don't have to go, oh man, motor's 3, how do I remap the output to, it's done. So that's a really nice feature of it. One of the things that I think is just as confusing as Raceflight as Betaflight, it's still the PID tuning. Betaflight, you got PIDs, easy. But then you go and the filters, okay, do I turn them off? Do I turn them on? What's the frequency numbers? Where should I put my TPA? What's the little set weight points on the sliders? That, I mean, it's kind of explained, but people still kind of guessing what to do. On Raceflight, it's kind of the same thing. They've got your PIDs, which are basically the same, but they can be in percents instead of numbers. And then you've got these TPA graphs and gyro dingies on the right-hand column, and there really isn't a good explanation of if your quad is doing X, come over here and change Y. They have explained some of it, but it's not at a level where I understand it or a person that's coming into it. Another thing on this configurator, I sell a lot of Diatone chips that are Betaflight. The guy gets them who's never run a Betaflight chip, and we've got these driver issues, and we're trying to install in Zadig tool and all this craziness. Well, Raceflight uses the same drivers that your keyboard uses. So for Windows, you don't have to download any drivers. And if you're just getting into it, and you can hook up a chip, go through a wizard that gives you a little guidance. I mean, it's really interesting. One of the things that Betaflight has over Raceflight until tonight, Preston was supposed to release something last night, and he's doing it. Well, he did it 17 minutes ago. So there's probably a lot of Raceflight people watching that. Raceflight's got a flight controller, but no OSD built into it. So to get an OSD, you have to have a little minimum OSD. You have to flash that wired in there, and then all it shows is current, voltage, and RSSI. Now that might have changed after tonight. It's supposed to be. They're supposed to have one come out with the OSD. Their Lewis script for changing your PIDs and your smart audio is horrific. On the Tyrannus, it's very slow. It's just they're working on it, but it's not out yet. Maybe tonight they're going to release that too. But you can't really do as much in that Lewis script as you can in Betaflight. Betaflight does have that huge advantage of the OSD. You can basically set up all your PIDs, filters, black box, lights, everything just from your OSD, which is a huge advantage, I think. Also, Betaflight, the newer boards now have your camera pad, so you can enter the OSD for your micro cameras and change that. Configurator, the drivers. So that is something different. There is good support for Raceflight. You know, again, you have very limited number of people that do the coding. So the people that know behind the code is a smaller group. So they have to be better at support, otherwise it would be dead. So they do have really good support on their Slack channel, on their Facebook page, and they do also have a warranty program where if you bust it, whatever, you can send it in and buy one at a discounted rate. So I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, Betaflight boards, freaking cheaper. And you get more on them, and you've got all-in-ones like an Asgard or the Zeus. I think it's got the other all-in-one. So hardware-wise, price-wise, a little different. Flight characteristics. This is, I mean, it's personal feel. Okay, I've been flying Betaflight for 3 years. When I flew the Raceflight, I think what really hooked me was I flew one of our local guys, Preston, his Raceflight ship, and yeah, it's different. It flies different. What you notice the most is when you turn. That's really the best way I can say it. What I noticed in the Raceflight one is not as pitchy, and when I turn, it feels like it's turning the whole ship as opposed to like yaw. It's not as jittery. The other thing I notice, especially when if I watch a really good Raceflight guy versus a Betaflight guy, the Raceflight ship will turn and just stop, and the Raceflight or the Betaflight kind of drifts a little bit more. You can tell if you watch a video the difference in the fluidness of the flight controllers. Betaflight's getting a little bit closer, and it really is a personal preference. I think if you ever get a chance to go fly somebody's Raceflight ship, you should do it. I know they did a quad box drop where everybody got a revolt, and I think it was a great marketing tool because why not? Yeah, it doesn't pitch with throttle change. So Rip City runs Raceflight. Our fastest guy in our club, Max, he runs Raceflight. Kyle runs Raceflight. Joe runs Raceflight, and he just started trying Raceflight, and he's still teetering. For him, he feels that Beta Flight, he's more locked in, but slower. But Raceflight, he can go faster, but still twitchy. He hasn't got that dialed in his rates yet. But once he does, it's not gonna be fun because he's gonna beat me some more, even faster. But it's, if you want to just buy a 4-in-1 ESC. It'd probably be the easiest way to do it with the cable connector, and buy a Raceflight board. Try it. And most of us don't like change, and I just want to try it because why not? I mean, there's all these out there. I haven't tried KISS yet. I don't have anybody around us that flies KISS, so I haven't. The one guy we don't fly with anymore. He got a boat, so. But it's worth a try if you can. If you do a 4-in-1 with one of these cables, and you don't like it, take the board off, chuck it, and put a Beta Flight board on there. It's not very hard to do, and you're only out a couple bucks. But this is a hobby, so you're supposed to be learning and trying new things and trying to be a better pilot. And it's worth trying just to see what it's like. But yeah, that's kind of my summary. I like Raceflight. I switched all my ships over to it now. I've got 2.5 that I've got. I'm building one right now that's going to be a Raceflight ship. So yeah, I like it. And I'm going to stay that way until, and then I'm going to come back to Beta Flight. I've still got a couple Beta Flight ships, so six Beta Flight ships. So I've got to. Oh, Rip Shooter's got a KISS board. Another build. See, I might have to do that, man. But as Beta Flight gets better, and the thing too is Beta Flight was built based off of 8K. So when it all started, Clean Flight, it was based at 8K processing. Raceflight, okay, please forgive me. I know this is cliche, but built from the ground up. But it was based on 32K processing. So it does things differently. It also, the PID loop reacts differently. So there are differences. I know Josh has done a video on this, so I'm just gonna say it once. The code got dumped. Everybody looked at it. They found one function that was the same. So really, that argument's over. It's different, and it flies different. So by it flying different, and now the code's out there, and they say it's different, it definitely is different. It's definitely worth a try. So it's something. If you want to try it, I would try it. It's kind of fun to. It's very easy to wire up, and here's the cool part. If you're a Frsky guy like me, you can put you don't have to do a receiver jack or receiver hack to get the smart port out. If you're using an R-XSR, just take the smart port, put it on, what's the top one? RX3, and then there's a little jumper on the side of the board. You probably can't see it. These are jumpers for normal or invert. So this is where your receiver goes in. So you jumper that one inverted, and then the jumper that, I think this one, I don't know for sure, but I have a video on it. But you just jumper it if you want the signal to be inverted. So you don't have to do those weird receiver hacks. Just boom, and you've got telemetry. And then with telemetry, I'll show you, because I got the video on this too. This is really cool for you Spectrum guys.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Hold on, this one. All right. Okay. Here's my Tyrannus. So there's what you get for telemetry. Yeah, it's backwards. So I get current draw, the battery voltage, the fuel. This is based off of percentage. So this is giving me a percent. And RSSI. For the RSSI, you do, well, it's RSSI on trans, so you don't do anything. But if you want it on your OSD, you send the channel to 8 or 16, and then it'll come up in your OSD. But for this fuel, it's based off of a percentage. So what I did is I set up a function that when my battery percentage is 70%, 1500, that's 1000 milliamps, then it tells me, hey, it's time to land. So that's I think it's a better way than using voltage. It's more accurate because I've checked it. The calibration on the bolt is very good. So I go out, fly them, charge them without balancing it, and they come in right with that percentage telling me within like 20 milliamps. And that's perfect, man. All I need to know is how much of my battery did I use. Voltage is definitely, especially with it being cold out, not the most accurate measurement of how much battery you got left. So I've got a really cool video how I set that up. It was really easy. Actually, I can, you guys, I'll just show you the quick and dirty of this for you Tyrannus guys. Okay, you go, because it's not hard. And then you can kind of look from here. So basically you just take a logic switch and see if it will show it. A is less than, well, it won't show it. I've got a video. But basically you start with your logic switch. You do A is greater than X. First variable is fuel and 70%. And then the next one I have my arm switch. So it only activates if I'm armed. So if that's true, if I've used more than 70%, then it goes to global function, play track, battery low. And that's it. Yeah, chip falls out of the air. So that's that. Now that kind of rolls me right into the RXR. So, oh, I got stuff on the floor. Someone likes tacos. I love tacos, man. I like the fish tacos, chicken tacos. Oh, what's up? All right. Frsky R-XSR receiver. Boom. Tiny with telemetry. It's perfect. It's awesome. However, they kind of just mess with our heads. They give us 2 wires. Okay. This wire really isn't what we want. The 3-pin wire, because what the pinout is negative, positive, S port. So this is just going to S port, and that's not really going to help us out. However, save this cable, because if you move the positive and negative around, this is what you plug in the back of your Tyrannus to flash the firmware onto your RXSR. So flash firmware, follow the videos online, swap the positive and negative wires in here, plug it in the back of your Tyrannus, and there you go. You've got a cable already made to update and flash your RXSRs. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So really what you need is this big long wire. And again, it goes negative, positive. They've got the wires color coded, which is nice. Then S port, which is the yellow wire. Okay. This is your telemetry. So put that in the telemetry one. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's great. That's perfect, man. That QX7. So that it works for the, like I said here, it works for the QX7. Don't reverse them, but on a X9 you have to reverse them. So, and then the next wire down after S port is S bus out. The bottom wire, which you don't see here because I've already taken it off, is S bus in, and that's for daisy chaining the receivers. What that means is you could have 2 receivers on your airplane maybe, or quad, and you would have the receiver from the internal of your X9 or Tyrannus sending the signal. And then you have another receiver from the module on the back. You could have additional module bind into that receiver, and it's sending dual, either dual redundancy signals, or you can expand the channels or something like that. So on the R-XSR, you want to leave the bottom one blank. I think it's white. You don't use that wire. And that's what everybody's messing up. Everybody's using the first 3 wires, which is negative, positive, and yellow, which we've always used as signal, but that's telemetry, and that's why it won't work. So that's the real trick on that one. Yeah, it does. The only thing on that one for plugging into the Tyrannus, the flash, these receivers are good to 7, 8-ish volts, but if you've got a 3S LiPo in your transmitter, that can fry them. So if you've upgraded your Tyrannus to a 3S LiPo, then don't plug it in. It'll melt your receiver. The other thing when you're flashing receivers, which I did the first time, wasn't paying attention, I downloaded the EU firmware instead of the FCC firmware. So go to, when you follow that video, follow directions. I always tell my customers, follow the directions to get the FCC firmware. And then the cool thing is, once you download that once, put it on your Tyrannus, it's always on there. So you know, your bench, you can flash these. If you're out the field, you can flash them. You'll know you used the wrong firmware because it won't bind. That's what happened to me. Again, hey guys, I'm Mark from 2dog. If you got some questions, post them down there in the comments, and I can help you out. Right here. Yeah, we talked about the GT-R versus the GT-M. About 80 grams difference, but I think everybody on here, Chad, I didn't see what you were using for motors, but I know Roger's using 2207 motors. He's using the Mad Dog motors on his. I don't know what Chad's using, but they've been coming in a little over 300, 320, 330 for the weight. If I take the antenna off, I save 5 grams and put a little stubby on there. Not really a lot of places to save like a ton of weight. I could take the motors off. That would save me, I think it would save me 20 grams, but I like having a little extra oomph. Yeah, so Chad's running the same motors as me. Yeah, I think his was the same weight as mine as well. So there's not too much variance there on building this one. But it's solid. Oh, here's another feature too. I like this one. I don't know, you can't see in there. So there's the bottom. You get a nice little plate. The arms go in, and then there's in between the frame and that bottom plate, there's a gap for your battery strap, so it's not going underneath your flight controller. That's why I put in the form. The bolt works really good there because the gummies are just tall enough to keep it off the bottom, and yeah, it just works perfect. So the arms meet in the middle. There isn't a gap, so when this arm comes in, it's going halfway, and this arm comes in halfway. So that helps reduce any kind of movement back and forth. That makes it a little bit stronger. And I think these are 5-inch arms thickness. They're definitely not thick enough to put an ESC on the top unless you got like a real skinny one. But yeah, this is going to be a great. Yeah, Chad, he did. He saw he put a little anti-slip pad on there, so the battery won't slip back and forth. Really good idea. I've seen a lot of people do that, and I'll probably add one on this one. I just wanted to fly it before it snows. Still no snow. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. Hoping to get some snow footage. My little IX2. Yeah, Fury F3S. Okay, that's a cool idea, Chad. The Fury F3S is a new product from Diatone. I've got them on order. What they did was, do I have mine? I do have mine. It's downstairs though. But basically, it's a flight controller. It's a Fury F3 flight controller with the power distribution built in, Betaflight OSD built in. But then what they did is it's a little bit wider than the normal one, and you can solder a TBS Unify 5-volt right on the bottom of it, right into it. And what that does is it reduces two things. One, you don't have to figure out where to put your VTX, and two, it makes the stack it's just one more thing to put somewhere. I tested that out before I had an issue, and they fixed that one. So it's a really neat idea. It's just a flight controller with the VTX, and it's just one more thing to just compress everything, and you get your smart audio, and it just solder pads. The cool thing is too, it's not that hard to take it off. There's three solder pads on the top, and you can just desolder those, and then you just wiggle it, and eventually the long solder pad will just break, and without breaking the board or anything like that, and you can melt it and put a new one on there. So it's not as bad as you would think. Like the it's an HGLC that's got the VTX actually built into the chipboard. That's not what this is. This is the TBS is mounted on the bottom of the flight controller. Well, Chad, I tested the F4 and I blew it on the 3rd flight, so they're still working on that one. Also on the F4, they're trying to figure out which gyro to use. I've tested a couple for them, and they're just going back and forth. They want to use something different than MPU 6000, but people are still having noise issues. You can't run 32K without having a lot of vibration. I know in the R90, that board's got the 2689 gyro in it, but if you run it at 32K, 32, I think 14 is what you can run that out with the dynamic filter. You get hard shakes on the throttle out, and just because it can't take the vibration. And that's why, you know, Raceflight's got gummies and 2 caps on it on the ESCs. That's supposed to help with that. So everybody's trying to find that new magical gyro. I know everybody's working on it. That's whoever gets that next gyro that can run at 32 and has a better noise floor, or as good a noise floor as MPU 6000, it's going to be a gold mine. I mean, even Josh Barwell, freaking the FC guy, man, he put an MPU 6000 on his, and that chip is almost, I think it's end of life. I don't think they're supporting it anymore. It's nearing its end of days. So, and one of the reasons, yes, it's the Fury F4 is soft mounted. It's soft mounted in the stack, but you gotta have, the nuts can't be too tight. You know, and that's just something that you gotta know as a builder, that you can't tighten your nuts too hard in the F4 run at 32K, and you know, if there's vibration, you're going to see it more. You got to watch your D a lot if you're going to do that, because if you get a lot of noise, you could really burn it up. I don't know if on those dynamic filters that's helped a lot, but on the previous, you know, when you had to set your filters, that could really throw some stuff off. So yeah, everyone except the gyro factor. That's right, Roger. I got one more little thing here. We got our new battery in. I just like having stuff that people can afford. I'm not saying my battery's the best battery in the world and it's going to outperform everybody else's, but I know Annie's been running my blue batteries, Iceberg FPV, for over a year now, and they're still going. They're starting to get in their life, but we got our little, what's my other battery? Probably shouldn't lose batteries in my house. Okay, so here's our old battery, blue battery. As you can see, ooh, this one's a little damaged. So this is our old blue battery. This is the 70C, and then this is our new 90C one. So it's a little bit shorter, but it's kind of like a tattoo, and it's a little bit chunkier. You can see there, a little bit taller. They're not tattoos. I didn't get them from Tattoo. I don't know if they are tattoos, but I didn't buy them from Tattoo. But yeah, we got them on the website, $26. Again, nothing special, but it's a good battery. You know, if you like this kind of thing, 2dogrc.com. Let me look on my little list here. What the heck is that? Who wrote that? Well, I didn't have really good handwriting there, but also, like I said before in my Raceflight, they're announcing something tonight, right now. I don't know what it is. It's probably a Betaflight board or a Raceflight board with an OSD. So you might see prices drop for rebolts, and you might see a new flight controller out. Hopefully they'll fix the OSD, because it's kind of crap right now. It's got 3 variables on it, and the voltage doesn't even have a period in it. And it fluctuates from like 4 numbers to 5 numbers. But 5 is good. So let's see. Yeah, Chad, I think, you know, it's worth a try. I'd be curious what you thought. Not everybody likes it. I know a couple guys that tried it and they're like, I like my Betaflight. But what I think would be really good for is guys that are just getting into the hobby, or girls, because the setup, the scary factor of the setup isn't there. You know, Betaflight is, and people have asked for this and they just won't do it. I don't know why, but you know, having a GUI walk you through it. This hobby is complicated enough, and if you have a nice GUI to walk you through something, you're gonna get a little bit of, man, I didn't just blow $700 on goggles and a ship for nothing. I can do this. I got this. And we don't have to sit and talk and watch 24 YouTube videos to figure out how to install a CP2 10X driver. You know, then once you're in the hobby, Great. Now you're flying, you're around people, you're trying other boards, Betaflight. You're like, okay, let me try Betaflight. They've got this new thing, or I'd rather try that. You know, I think that's fine. And that was one of the cool things that Open Pilot had. I know it's kind of dating myself, but that was a long, long time ago. They had a really good GUI, and you could just start and finish and go fly. You didn't have to go back in and do anything weird. So, you know, I know, but then again, if you look at how Betaflight and Raceflight are run, Betaflight is very community driven, right? So if everybody's pitching in and doing things, so someone has to take the initiative to go, we really need to do this. I want to do it. Whereas Raceflight's going, how can we do something better or different than Betaflight, because we're running this as a business as opposed to a community project. And if you take that in consideration, then that's why they did that. Now, I also take that in consideration and say, okay, you're running a product for profit. I would say a higher caliber product. So I expect a little bit more. I expect more than 3 freaking variables on my OSD when I'm paying a little bit more for something than, you know, I mean, I know how much it costs to make a CCD Revolution. I know how much it costs to make a Fury F3 board because we made Fury F3 boards. I know how much it costs to make a Fury F4 board. And when you sell these for $45 at the volume they're doing, that's a pretty good margin. So, you know, I'm okay with paying more, but then on the other hand, I'm going to expect more. Oh, I don't know what Pope Malone means there. The APG compared to the OV. I don't know. So, you know, you take that into consideration too, where the different projects are coming from and where they're going, and that gives you a little bit idea. I mean, Betaflight's trying to put some tests and do new stuff and put whole stuff in. And the funny thing is, you don't hear about CleanFlight too much anymore. I don't even. I think Dominic's still participating in that. I know. What's the one called? iNav. iNav. Yeah, iNav. iNav's still pretty popular. We get a lot of people asking how to set up GPSs, and I don't know. But that's a different direction that people are going. And I think so this OSD was part of a drive from iNav too, because if you look at the OSD features, you're getting a lot of GPS information up there. Now, one of the funny things that I think is real funny is, I don't know if you guys heard of Eagle Tree. Eagle Tree used to be really big in the airplane world, a lot of telemetry data, GPS mapping. I mean, these guys were the guys to go to for in-flight telemetry and information. And they came out with a flight controller called the Eagle Tree Vector. There's a box. And you could set the whole ship up in your goggles. In the OSD, where was start to finish on setting up your ship. And I don't know why we can't do that yet. It was very amazing. And the other cool thing on the Eagle Tree was the OSD was in color. So you could do your modes in blue or yellow and red, and you could have warnings flashing in red as opposed to just everything we're doing now is just white, or I think you can do Betaflight OSD in black as well. So it'd be interesting to see if we can get to where we already were 2 years ago. I think they came out with that. And that, I thought that was really exciting, but the flight performance just wasn't there, and it was big. I mean, I think it's about as big as this box. So that unit's not going to fit into a quad, and it was with PWM signal, so one wire for each ESC. So it has some limitations. That's why we do not have that already, because it was taking some things for granted, saying yes, this is what we're going to do. So you already know that part, but hopefully we'll see some new stuff coming on. Competition is always good. So again, you guys know I work real closely with Diatone. I've had a couple of people ask me what are they coming out with. I know they've got a couple products coming out. Like Chad mentioned here, that F3 F3S, that one's out. It's been produced. I've got a couple coming in. It's a flight controller with the TBS Unify. The SB2 has been discontinued. The SB3 has been discontinued. All future products will have TBS Unifies in them. So that really shows you the level that Diatone wants to be thought of as a company. They're dealing with TBS. They're boom up here. So what you also see was you'll see a lot of cool branding, I guess, cooperation between the two. Some of the frames you're going to start seeing on their websites. They got, obviously we've got, okay, the GT-R, the highly inspired by the Floss. This comes in 5, 6, and 7-inch. I don't know why. I think there's a 4-inch too, but I don't know on that one for sure. So this is like their light one. I think they're still tweaking this one a little too. Yeah, you did go away, man. Welcome back. Out from San Diego, I believe. This one is the GT-M for Marauder, and they've got a couple versions of this one. So this is the stretched 5-inch. They've got a 6-inch. They've got a regular X, which is great. And then they've also got, let's see if I can do it. Kind of not really in this one. They've got a cross. So the arms go up and down and straight across like this in this body format. They're not interchangeable. You can't take this design and put it into that one. The arms attach different points and the bottom plate's different. But they do have this in a cross format. And I've seen a guy on the Diatone threads flying that one, and he said it takes getting used to, because when you're flying, so imagine this is a cross. I know it's a little off, but the body would be straight up and down here. Okay, so when you're flying, your front arm now is below your camera. So if you're skimming the ground, this arm is about 2 inches, 3 inches below you. So you kind of got to get used to that. But it says when it turns, you can really tell the difference in the frame, how it turns. And I think that's very interesting, because most people Chad, I cannot confirm nor deny that comment. So when you fly a stretch or an X, I don't know. I think it's really hard to tell the difference between the two. I don't even know why I'm flying a stretch on this one. I should have probably just got the X, but I don't know. But the cross formation, he said he could definitely tell the difference. And that guy's got, I think he's got this one too, the stretched and the crossed. And he could definitely tell a difference on when you turn, on how it handles. Like he said, he's still getting used to it, on how it handles and how you got to be close, be aware of how close to the ground you are. But I think, that may or may not come out. I think they're going to come out with an ARF in that one, but they haven't really figured out what motors they want to put on that one. Do you want naked bottoms? Do people want the 2306s? A lot of 2207s are big now. It's just trying to guess what you want to be. And with us coming, yeah, Ben, yep, yeah, he's got all three. So he's got a real good comparison. The guy's pulling all three of them. On the Diatone group, there's a lot of really good pilots in there. You got Drone Wolf, Chad, Ben, Bellamy's in there. Albert Kim, he did a review in the R90. He did a fantastic job on setting up 3 and 4S PIDs for it, which I couldn't do because my stack kept smashing every time I flew it. I wanted to so bad, but ooh, that's a good question, Roger. I don't know if Raceflight supports the Plus style. I'd have to ask, because you put it. Well, I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm going to ask him. I'll ask, because maybe when you calibrate it, it would, because you put it flat on the table and then you put it on its nose. Maybe that would center the 45-degree tilt. Let me write that down so I don't forget. Raceflight Plus. So and that's one of the things I like about working with Diatone, that they have a good customer base, and they send out a lot of samples for people to test. I know the Fury was heavily tested by a lot of guys. The GT-M, GTR was. I didn't get a GTR because I had to work a lot in December, so I didn't get one because I wasn't able to fly it. I'm not going to tell you what I did get, Chad, though. Chad knows. But so I've got, I like to fly them, and I'm not very shy on what I tell Diatone. If I think it's garbage, I tell them. If I, say this isn't going to work, or I think it's a really good idea, I let them know. I try to be honest because I have to sell it. So that means I have to send them thousands of dollars. You guys only have to send me $60 for the frame. So I try to make sure that what I'm buying is what I want to fly. And if you look at my website, ever since I started my company, my daughter's 12, so 13 years ago, I've flown everything I've sold. I built it, I've flown it, and I just maybe because I have ADD, but I like to know what I'm selling, and that's why when people call me, I can say, usually, hey, it's your red wire. Yeah, that's a good idea, Roger. Have him come over to my feed and say, hey, Preston, what's up? I have to go watch that after I'm done with this one. So I had another thing I was going somewhere. Yeah, it's old age, man. It hits you hard, and you don't remember. Yeah, yeah, Robert, that was a long time ago. Me and you, I mean, doing the foamies. Um, um, oh, geez, totally lost it. I'll have it drinking my coffee. I do want to try one of those. I know someone asked about 6S before. I know the 2017 Diatone Crusaders do not support 6S, so don't try it. The PDBs don't support it. I think it was the PDB or the ESCs or something. So don't on the 2017 Crusaders, don't try those. Oh, cameras. That's what I was going. Cameras. I've flown. I don't have my little IX2 up here. I love my little IX. I should probably go get that. Nah, never mind. Okay. I have a little IX2, which is like the IX5, but it's smaller. Half. Sorry, bad pun. But I've been flying the Frsky Micro and then the Predator Mini. And I came off of flying the Monster V2, which again, I think was the best camera that I've flown yet. None of that digital thing that the freaking RunCam one that it is great. It did very good transitions, dark to light, light to dark. My Frsky Micro, getting some better settings in it. I followed something that Roger said. I tried Final Glide settings, and then I also turned my contrast down even just a little bit more, and I'm starting to get a little bit better picture. I run Sky Zone goggles, which are 16:9, so that's why the Monster for me was just the perfect camera, because I had a 16:9 image, I had 1200 TVL. It was beautiful. It was like watching HD compared to the little HS11.7s. But the Fox here, I would say, is on par with your HS11.7 in the daytime and the night. I'm running a RunCam Swift Micro that I got from the RunCam guys, and I think it's a little bit better of a picture. It's kind of hard to tell because I've flown in different environments, but I really think the little RunCam Swift I just think it's the edge on the picture quality just a little bit from my own personal experience. And then the Predator Mini, oops, I gotta change props on that one anyway from hitting the tree. The Predator Mini is a very good picture, but I think the wide dynamic range is a little too aggressive on it. I think they needed to dial that down, because one of the things I did, I've got a video on my YouTube channel where I was at the soccer field and I just covered up the bottom of the lens where there was very bright grass. And as soon as I did that, I could see the tree branches all the way across the soccer field. And then when I let go of my finger, it just all went black. And what happens is while you're flying, I might just need to change some settings on it, the brightness, but you can't change the WDR. The trees get dark, and then if you're, let's say the sun's behind me. I just did this today. So I'm going up, there's a row of trees. I'm going up like this. The trees are kind of dark, and I flip over, so I'm blocking out all that bright sky. Then this picture now is beautiful. I can see branches and leaves and squirrels running and rainbows and unicorns and shit. But if I come back this way and get the bright sky again, it darkens the trees in front of me. So I have to work on that one. I've turned my brightness down, and that helped get rid of the blue. It has this blue tune or a hue to it. As you can see, Josh did a video of that too. But that got rid of the blue. I think I'm going to try to turn it down a little bit more. It's just too cold to be standing up the outside. The Cadix micros, I haven't tried any of those yet. From what Diatone told me was they were a cheaper chipset than the Frsky or RunCam cameras, and that's why they're cheaper. So they went, like a budget line. I can't confirm that, but when I asked them what they were putting into the R90 before it came out, I knew it was going to be a micro, and I asked them which ones they tried. So that was what they told me. I haven't personally flown any of them, so I can't say. Yeah, rainbows and unicorns, bro. That's yeah, it's a family joke there, but I thought it was kind of funny to put in that one. But I'd like to try one of them because they are cheaper. But if the lenses work and the lenses are cheaper, that's great. Because that's usually what yes. Yeah, they're pale. What you find is a lot of cameras from China are pale, and it's not a bad thing, is it? I don't know. It's a different resolution than what we use. It doesn't matter as far as our goggles because they auto detect. Some of the older monitors don't auto detect, so you would have to switch it. But if you go into Betaflight OSD and change your change that OSD setting from NTSA to PAL, you'll see that the PAL has a little bit more of a screen. So I think there's more lines in PAL. But I don't know if I'm 100% right on that one. I think these are NTSC cameras, the Frsky ones. Now, Frsky, these are the refresh rate slower in PAL. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. See, I learned something today. I'll have to put that up. That'll be my lead in to the next one. Today, I'm going to learn something, as opposed to Josh is saying you're going to learn something. But he hasn't trademarked that, so maybe he won't know. But I know for the Predator, there's an issue with the first batch. We got like 5 or 6 left of the first batch. That on the Fast Shark HD3s, your picture's black and white. Don't know why. It only happens on HD3s. It doesn't happen on anything else. It's just an HD3 thing. So I don't know. They say they got it fixed on the next batch, and they've got it fixed on the micros, which I can't wait to get a micro because that's going to go. I'm probably going to put a micro into the GTR, and then I'm probably going to put a micro into the prototype frame that I'm testing as well. I want to type something here. I don't know if this will work on that or not, but you guys have been here for a while, and if you have, there's a coupon code for 10% off one order at the website. So if you want to use that sometime, it doesn't expire. It's an open-ended coupon code, 10% off one-time use. So if you need to buy yourself a Christmas present that your wife didn't get you, or whatever. Where's the wife? Well, she's out shoveling snow. No. Did it snow yet? Can't tell. Wife's downstairs watching TV, so that works out great. Put the kid to bed. No school tomorrow. So yeah, we got some race. Hey Chad, if you want to try Raceflight, man, I've got a board up there. I've got those revolts on the website. So, I think. Okay, so Chad uses the RunCam. I really like to get some more RunCam cameras in, but it's a money thing. I get my Dell props and my Frsky cameras all come from Frsky or Dell is the same company, so it really saves on shipping. I get a ton of props and cameras, so I don't know. It's hard to go RunCam, but I know they're good. When I met the RunCam people at the multi-GP IO last year, and they're like, you should only sell RunCam because we only make cameras, so we know cameras better. We don't make props. So their whole argument is we're better because we only do one thing. Couldn't argue with that one. And that's what I got the RunCam micro from them to try. And I'm waiting for them to make a CMOS camera micro that's better than the Frsky one, and then I'll pull the trigger, because I think in this, oh man, In this quad market, this quad market, what we've seen really drive change is the cameras. It has, I don't think the motors really drive the change of the frame or the flight controllers so much as the cameras drive the frames more than anything, I believe. Because if you remember back a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, we had the ZMR 250, we had a QAV 210, and those all took those board cameras that were boxed, and we all had them flat at like 5 degrees, and we thought we were awesome pants. And then after that kind of you were stuck at one position, and then the HS-11.7 came along, and when that did, all the frames changed. You could mount it on the side with those little holes. You could mount that little bracket so you can move it up and down to change the angle. And then, you know, the run cam and the monster. Then the CMOS cameras got better, and we got the, I think the Sparrow's the run cam version. We got the monster, then we got the monster 2, which is a great CMOS camera. And so that really didn't change the frame design. But now we've got these micro cameras that are just as good as their full-size cameras. So now you've got, the fronts are smaller. You've got just more room to, or less room to mount the camera, because you're going to use, it's made for a micro camera, and it gets the weight down, and you don't need all that. There's proven you don't need all that stuff. Now, one thing I would say on the micros though is you can't put that nice GoPro lens on that micro Frsky yet. And I know a couple people are holding off on the frames because they don't want to go micro, because they didn't want to put a 2.1 lens on there. They like their GoPro wide angle lens, which I don't blame them, man. That's really nice. But on the Predator that's coming out, the Predator Micro, it's a 1.8 millimeter lens, 160-degree field of view. So again, you're going to get a real nice field of view with that. I just don't know how that's going to be. The Strider, yeah, Alan. Alan is our local hobby store owner, and I got him a Strider. He got it all set up. He's flown it, and that's got a board cam. And I think, you know, he still hasn't gotten out to race with us. One of these days, I think we're gonna have to go old school. The movie on Alan, where they go and they get the black A-Team van, they'll put the mask on, and we'll drive up to the hobby store, throw him in the back of the van, tell his mom he'll be back by dinner, and take him out to the flying field and have him hit some gates. Touch it. So yeah, but I think, you know, that's going to be the next thing. When these cameras are going to be smaller, we're going to get the wide angle lens, and everybody's already designing them, the frames for them. It makes sense. They work just as well, and save some room, save some weight. People have learned that, well, one, if your frame's lighter, it flies differently than a heavy frame. Two, I was talking to some guys up in Cincinnati at the Hawks RC Club, and these guys are very, very lucky. Two clubs kind of went together, and they secured an indoor old whiskey warehouse. This thing's huge, and it's a full-time FPV indoor racetrack. I don't know if they're gonna, I don't know, like, if you can get in during the week or it's just weekends or whatever, but they're building LED gates. They've got a pilot room with the dual diversity receivers on the outside, wired into a heated room. So while you're flying, it's nice and warm. You're not out there in the cold. And the guys in there said the good guys are running the 5-inch ships, but light ones like the Floss and the Ghost, very light, and they're just having a blast flying full-size 5-inch quads indoors. And then most of the other people are running 3-inch. But if you're lighter, you're not going to have as much force when you hit something, and so you break less. Yeah, so I think, you know, if you can run Cam Swift, Micro Fox here, they're all real good. Oh yeah, again, so back to the Raceflight Betaflight thing. Betaflight, wonderful OSD. Raceflight, nothing, unless you have the extra chip, or maybe they have a new board. Roger, I don't know if you've been listening to that one too or not, but the easiest way to get the information you want on the Raceflight, especially if you're a free sky, and I think what I would do next time, because I've done this both ways, is just hook up a RunCam Swift or Frsky Micro and run, or, you know, those cameras that have the VCC battery detector wire. Just run that wire to your board, to your bolt, and get your battery voltage there. Set up your telemetry, set your current usage on your radio, and that's all the information you really need. You know, you maybe have a timer on your radio. There is a timer in Raceflight, but it's a It's a power on timer, not a flight timer. I know, come on guys. But you put that on your Taranis. You can set it on your Taranis. You can have a timer tell you when to stop flying. If you want to go timer as a backup, you can do percent of your battery used. That's the Bolt is by far the best pre-calibrated ESC I've used. So just put that on, and I've got a video coming up. I just finished last night. I'll show you exactly how to do that. That will tell you, hey, you've used 1,000 milliamps, land. And then if you want the voltage just as a backup, which I think is good, just run the camera video cable in there, and you're good to go. Voss Air has a nice light 5 out. Oh, cool. I'll have to check that out. Voss Air. Okay, Ryan, I'll have to check that out. There's a lot of light ones out there. I'm trying to, because we really kind of focused our business towards Diatone. I'm trying to fly all Diatone this year, trying to race all Diatone. I've got, last year I did D-Quad Obsessions because they're tanks. On the regional finals course last year, I believe I hit every obstacle at least once, and nothing broke on the ship. I mean, the D-Quad really started this aluminum roll cage. Oh, now I'm going to say aluminum because you guys are going to, people already argue this one that it's the roll cage idea isn't D-Quads, but they were the first one to put the roll cage as aluminum. And then that whole trend has just exploded. You know, Gep RC copied them first with the Leopard, and then there's a whole bunch of different designs. This is a lot different than the D-Quad. It's pretty similar though in the general design, but it's got some different features like the rotating top. You under the two fronts, and the top piece just rotates up, and you can get everything there. But I liked having aluminum here instead of carbon fiber because carbon fiber is just carbon fiber. This can take a lot. So I think, you know, that's what I'm going to try to do this year is race all Diatone. They've been a very good company to work for, and they've got some really good frames. I like their carbon, and I just, you know, I don't have a reason not to. Yeah, let's see. I can't tell if there's snow. There's too much glare in my window right over here. But so for the future from 2Dog, what you can look forward to is one of these a month. I will do hopefully with new products or questions. I'm going to try to write questions down during the month that I notice people are asking me a lot, like the R-XSR. I think 6 people a week I've been helping fix that because they had the wrong wire in there. Always read instructions, don't assume. Would be probably a very good rule to do on receivers and wires in general. But we're going to be doing one of these a month after Chinese New Year, which will be, it is February. So by March, we'll have new products from the Chinese people. That's when all the new stuff comes out of China. And what we're also going to start is a repair service. We'll have some set prices for people that, one, don't know how, don't have time, don't want to repair things. If you want us to build something, we can do that. Obviously, it's going to be cheaper to buy an ARF, but an ARF you can't spec the parts. So if you want somebody's motors and this, that, and that, we'll put it together and charge you for it. We think that there's a need for some service. You know, you want your ship up for a race, we can fix it for you and get you ready to go. Also do some troubleshooting if that's needed to be. We'll have some new motors coming in. And battery straps, my battery straps shipped. I don't have them yet. Hopefully next week they'll be in. They're 250 millimeters long, and they've got ribbed silicone in them to grab the battery better so it doesn't slip back and forth. Batteries, props, dude, guys, I have no clue what to do on props. So I'm trying to figure out what people are flying. I've got an account with Luminaire, so I can get gate breakers, but they're really expensive. I don't know if it's worth the price. I haven't personally used any. I like the HQ ones. I think the 4x3s are excellent props. I'd love to try the 4.8s. We will have, yes, we will have more parts for the Diatone chips. That's something, so Chad brought up a good point, more parts for the GT-M. What I did is I got the GT-Ms came in second, the GTRs came in first. I think they sent me the GTR to test, and I wanted to fly it, see what I needed to stock. There really, on the GTR, there really isn't much to stock. I mean, it's so cheap just buying 2 kits, $50, and you got a whole bunch of, you got 4 extra arms for $50. It's extra top plate. extra spare part. And I'm getting a lot of that Hulkies. I'm gonna have to get some Hulkies. And for the GTR, I did order spare parts already for that. I ordered some arms, I ordered roll cages, but I believe I missed that antenna piece in the back. I'm gonna have to put in another order for that. But the price of these kits are coming down so much that it's almost worth just buying two, because I think the GT-M is like $55. So if I were to sell you 4 arms at $8 a piece, that's 32 bucks right there. So 20 bucks you get the hardware, the top plate, the extra bottom plate, the battery holder. You know, it kind of comes to a point where for us to stock the parts is very expensive, because if we don't know what's going to break the most. But once we do identify what breaks a lot, like the little gray antenna pieces on them, people said they're breaking. We're going to stock more of those. Arms, we usually stock extra arms for them as well. I don't think that roll cage is going to break. Someone will. I said that about the Crusader or the Tyrant S. You can't break an arm on a Tyrant S, and one guy proved me wrong by going about 80 miles an hour straight into the concrete. That's how he had to do it to break it. So we'll have some more parts for those. I know we'll have the 3-inch RTFs. I think they're going to retail at about $189-ish. I don't know the final price on that one. Looking at some of the iFlight kits, they've got a new, what are those called? Vertical arms. So it's that, your arms are flat. Well, these are vertical. They mount sideways in a bracket. I'd like to try one first because it's an aluminum. So the arms go this way. So here's a standoff, and it's kind of like a clasp that holds the arm. And if this is like really bad aluminum, it's going to flex and bend there. And I don't know if that's really worth it, the coolness factor. And then you mount your motors on top of the arm like this. So I don't know. I like to try one out first. It seems like it's a cool idea, but it's just adding some complexity that we don't really need in our ships. And is it really giving you any kind of, what's the benefit to having vertical arms? I don't know yet. But we're always looking it out there. Oh, yeah, Roger. Yes, the 3-inch is going to come right now. I ordered a couple kits, but I ordered the ready to fly 3 inches. And there's a lot of people running 3-inch races because they can go fast. So, and it's forest capable as well. So it will just haul and just kind of. Chad I can't confirm nor deny that comment. So the heavier, if you get like the Tyrant S, I think they might be redoing that one. I don't know. That's a solid frame. The Tyrant S is a remake of the Tyrant, and they kept that frame because it doesn't break. The body, the arms it's a 5-inch frame, but the arms are short the way that it's designed, so it's very hard to break the arms. And it's a great beginner ship. I think what they could really do on that frame to make it better is get rid of the piece of garbage CMOS camera that they put in it, and put in one of these nice little PAL boxier little micro cameras in it, so you get a real camera. And then they'll get rid of they're running on SB2, so put that in, put the Fury F3S with the TVS Unify coming out the back, and you're done. And you still got a great trainer plane. That's one of our best selling, hey, I want to get into this, what's a good ship, because it's a tank. You can top mount the battery, you can bottom mount the battery. The motors are 2205, 2300 kV motors, so nothing like underpowered at all, not super powered either. And I think it's just a really good kit. I flew mine full power into a pine tree and just bounced off, and I had to replace a standoff, but other than that, the ship was in good condition. So yeah. So to wrap it up there, I appreciate all you guys coming. And again, I don't know if anybody just got in, but here's the Here's a one-time code. Oh, we'll be having a new website too. I'll be working on it through January, probably done in February. Just that website I made 6-7 years ago, and just time to upgrade, flush it, get rid of the bad code, and not bad code, but code that I haven't been using, and just start all over at the newer version and make it cleaner, hopefully easier to find. I just put that code there in the comments again. So at one-time use, it won't expire. So if you don't want to use it tonight, don't worry. We'll be around. And just look forward for some more videos. I've got, since I did do this Raceflight, one of the things I do get comments on about a lot is, hey Mark, your videos really help me XYZ. So I've got a whole bunch of Raceflight videos that I'm putting together, because some of the stuff that I wanted to do, I couldn't find how to do it, and I don't like that. So if I can't find out how to do it easily, there's a gap there. So I want to fulfill that. And Josh doesn't do Raceflight or KISS, so I've got some, like, I'll show you how to set up the current sensor to show you the milliamp consumed and tell you that your battery's low. I've already got one done showing how to set up black box logging, and there's another one. And then I'll do one where I go through the wizard. I've got one showing how to set up the R-XSR. I'm almost done with that one. I forgot a step, so I got to go back and edit that. So I'm just, more videos. If you guys ever need something that you need a video done, just shoot me an email. I want to thank, Rip Shitty asked a very important question. Are we racing Saturday? Well, that's a really good question, because the weather does look like it's going to be cold, and we did put a temperature limit on the race of 40 degrees. So we'll call it probably, what day is today? Today's Wednesday. Probably by Friday, we'll call it, if we're not going to race. I don't think so. It looks like it's only going to be about 33, and Sunday is supposed to be 45. But there is a motocross race there, or practice on Friday, so we can't go there then. I wish we had a backup facility to use. I don't think we do. Maybe, you know what, Jason, I'm going to talk to Roger, and maybe we could do something at a different location on Sunday as opposed to racing on Saturday, and so that we can still get our racing in, because I'm gunning for you, man. I'm coming for you. You beat me that last one on that gate, but well, I'm coming for you. So let me talk to Roger, and I'll get back to you. I'll post something up on the Fayetteville group and comment on that. But any other questions there? I'm more than happy to take some. I got about 10 more minutes, and I'm going to call it a night. I've got to put all this stuff back, and Chad, I got to go build something, so that I can't confirm or deny. Michael, that's a really good question. Grotner has been making radios for probably as long as Futaba and JR. So you're not going to go wrong with a Grotner product. They're a high-end German company, German manufacturing. Their shit's top notch. It's expensive. Some of it is. I haven't seen this particular one. I'm going to look it up though. And I haven't done any Crossfire stuff. So I've seen a lot of people going into it, but I think anything that's got direct support for Crossfire is a benefit. We've got limitations in all our systems, right? Video limitations range, RC range, and I think, if it's something that looks good to you and you want to do it, I don't think it'd be a bad thing to do. I think Crossfire is becoming more popular. When something becomes more popular, it gets less expensive and more ready available and more options. So, and more things are going to start to support it. So if your transmitter already supports the protocol, and I'm pretty sure that's probably an upgradable radio, because the Grotner stuff, most of those I believe are, I don't think you could go wrong with that. I know, Raceflight's is getting more Crossfire support in it. Betaflight already supports it. So I don't, if you like it, if it feels good in your hands, man, I say buy it. I haven't personally held one of that particular radio. And now with the trade shows, I mean, I don't know if you're in the Midwest, but Toledo is in April. There will probably be, I know there's a JR booth up there. So, hey, thank you, Jesse. That might be a place to get your hands on one, to feel it, because, if it doesn't feel right in your hand, it doesn't work. Like those Turnigy Evolutions. I use one for my travel, when I travel to just play on Velocidrone, but I can't fly with it because I'm a pincher and I can't get any of my switches pinching. So I can't fly it. I can thumb, but I don't thumb when I fly FPV, only when I play Xbox. It doesn't work. But you really, I think the best thing to do is, if you get a chance to hold one, that's really where you're going to figure out if that transmitter's for you. If it's got all the features, it's a Grotner, so you're not doing some junky Chinese off-name brand, so you're going to be good to go there. But how does it feel in your hand would be probably the most important thing. So I know a lot of people like those. I'm going to look that up. MZ12 Pro. Now, you got me curious, because Grotner makes good products. MZ12 Pro. Only $200. Let's see here. Yeah, yeah, for $200, that's pretty good. Oh, that's with the receiver, so it's probably cheaper without one. It's got the battery. It's got voice telemetry. That's cool. Voice alerts. Crossfire V2 timers, telemetry. Wow. Wireless setup. Look at that. Bi-monolithic talking to. Yeah. Dude, I don't see what. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any reason not to go for that, man. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Looks like it works off of I don't know what protocols it runs. If you're running Crossfire, you're going to run Crossfire receivers anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, so he's going to the AMA West Expo. That's another good place to go to get your hands on some of the stuff. There's a West and an East. West is in Oakland. Well, it was in Oakland one time. I don't know where it is this year. And then East is up in New Jersey. And then Toledo. It's not Toledo. It's called Weak Signals. That's in Toledo. That's in April. First week in April. And then I don't know. I know Multi GP is doing the IO again this year. Okay, you can get skins for it too. The MZ12, you can get yellow, red skins, white skin, orange skin. Looks like there's stickers too, so you can put it on. It's probably got a good gimbal, I would guess, too, being Grotner. Let's see, what does it say? Yeah, that would be the only thing too that I would look at is the it's got to be a good gimbal, right? Quad bearings gimbals for smooth operation, so it's probably going to be good for you there. Ontario, California. There you go. Oh man, I've been doing some flying out there in Ontario. I have to see if I can't get a trip there. Oh, dude, guy Jason sent me the picture of the snow up in Raleigh. I missed that. That's cool. But oh, there you go, Roger. That's a good question. Doesn't look like it does support Lua scripts. But if you're running Betaflight, you wouldn't really need to. You could do most of that through the OSD. Anything you can do in that Lua script. Yeah. So smart audio would have to be on screen, stuff like that. Yeah, I think that would be your downfall in that one. So good point, Roger. Well, guys, I appreciate you listening, and I hope I taught you something, or got you some more information, or helped you out, or maybe sparked your interest in something. And as always, I appreciate your business if you're buying from us, or if you're just talking good about us, that helps too. Again, I said I'm going to try and do these more often and get more information out there, and we'll try to get some more instruction videos out there for some more things. I'd like to do a camera. Hopefully, I'll get this Predator like perfect and be the first one to have a perfect Predator video out there. But I don't know. It's so cold. I'm kind of a baby when it comes to cold, but I'll try to do that as well. But if you got any other ideas or topics, send me an email, and I can put those in the next one. And keep going, keep giving you some different information. I find that there's a lot of good YouTube people out there, and my relationship with Diatone helps me give you more Diatone related news than other places that are just more broad. I'm kind of like a more laser focused than a shotgun focused, like Ready Made and Get FPV. They cover everything. I'm kind of just I really pick and choose what I carry. So, dude, Chad, I won't next month, but I do come out to California a lot. I've been going out to Ontario and LA, San Diego, Ontario. Yeah, those are some of the places we fly to. But I have to, if you're by there, man, I'll have to hit you up, and I will come out and fly. So yeah, next month I'm doing Minneapolis, Detroit, Cincinnati for a month. So yeah, that'll be fun flying. But hey guys, again, appreciate it. Thanks, Alan. Yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll get some more stuff up for you. You guys have a good night and Happy New Year. And I hope you got some snow if you're in North Carolina. And if you guys are up northeast, hope you don't get as much snow as you're supposed to get. Have a good night.